Wer seinen Feind und Sitz selbst kennt, wird auch in 1000 Schlachten nicht verlieren. He who knows the enemy and knows himself shall not lose in 1,000 battles. Now, after looking at the NNP rally in St. Andrews Southeast at SAS, I have to say in some respects, I'm disappointed. And I still believe that the NNP is unaware of what and who they're up against. They had an opportunity to reinforce some of the ideas, especially from Miss Jenny Simon. Miss Jenny Simon is like John the Baptist out in the wilderness, hollering at the top of her lungs, giving the NNP mucho ammunition. She's basically stockpiling the ammunition, stockpiling the ammo right at your doorsteps, and you guys would not take it up and use it. She is basically giving you all the political ammo you need. And then you get on platforms and you don't even reinforce what she says. If you just reinforce what she says, guess what? You'll be 2 steps ahead of the game. The guy who stole the show last night, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, was Michael Baptiste. And of course, the veteran former PM kind of knocked some sense into the NNP and told them, this is what he said. He said, look, stop talking all this talk about we win and we win already. We win when we actually win. So don't say, oh, we win and we're almost there and we're there. No, you don't take anything for granted when you have an incumbent administration to go up against. You have to first analyze and understand that these young cats, they didn't win on their merit or ability. You have to understand that there was a machination around them that saw the potential, supported them, and drove them to power. Because that very machination saw opportunity for themselves. You think that machination has gone away? You have to recognize and understand who and what is that machination. As I've started off by saying, he who knows the enemy and knows himself shall not lose in 1,000 battles. You have to understand that the reason the last administration lost, the NNP lost, is because there was a 3-prong approach. The socialist Marxists, the unions and so-called civic voices, and of course, the remnant of the NDC party when these guys parachuted into it. That 3 that came and formed an alliance was able to bring down the NNP. And the 5th column is the media. So this is what you're up against, NNP. You're up against the unions and civic voices, so-called civic voices. Now they're silent because, of course, their party is in power. The sabotage they were doing for years was to get this party in power. No, they're not going to say anything because, of course, it's their guys. So these civic voices in the union are in the same pot. The socialist Marxists, which also is in the mix, is part of that alliance. And then you have the remnant NDC party and these newcomers. So you're up again, let me tell you, again, the media, the unions and the so-called civic voices, the socialist Marxists, and of course the remnant of the NDC and the people who parachuted into it. These are the people you're up against. And this is what you need to recognize. And if you can't break that wall, or you don't fight on those fronts, then crap will smoke your pipe. And without a doubt, you have to understand the cream on top of all of this, okay, the gas that drives that engine is the finances. The gas that drives that engine is the finances. The NDC was lucky in the last election. There were finances who had an axe to grind with Dr. Keith Mitchell. It was their opportunity to get a sweet revenge. You have to understand now that not only can they rely on the finances, but they have access to more money right now. They have access to government coffers. They have access to all those trips you see they're making. They have access to foreign finances. Okay? And these people have vested interests. So you think they wouldn't want to support them to keep them in power? I hope you see this. This should be obvious. So this is the sort of Atlantic Wall, so to speak. And for you history buffs who understand the Second World War, you know what the Atlantic Wall was. It was some of the most serious defenses that the Germans put together. You have to understand that if you lose this election, it would be a devastating blow. It may even fracture the NNP party as we know it. It would embolden the NDC party. It would solidify them. And if you think that you're worried about what they're doing now, well, you shall see if they win the next election. This would be a cakewalk in comparison. It would be a devastating blow to the NNP because it would prove to Grenadians that these young cats have broken the curse of the one term. And boy, oh boy, that'd be a victory for them. So keep Mickey Mousing and think that this is a game. There were financiers who knew that if NDC got in, they would have gotten twice times what they put into NDC's campaign. They knew it. So it was a done deal. It was a solid investment. So that is why they supported them. And when they came in, they were handsomely rewarded. All the issues they had, guess what? The money they put into the campaign was nothing compared to settlements that they had. This is how these people operate. So when you thought that, oh, it was some magnificent win for these young cats, please, had it been up to them, they would have never won that election. It's the people, the adults in the room, the people who saw opportunity around them. And of course, they know the populace, the mass of people are generally, a lot of them are just giddy-headed, okay? They like sensation. They're emotional. They ain't thinking straight. So the adults in the room saw that and say, let us get on that NDC gravy train. And they did. The socialist Marxists, and boy, oh boy, these guys, if you look at their history, they know how to smell gravy. They smell gravy with Jewel. And then they formed the NJM. They smell gravy in 83. And then they decide they wanted all the pie for themselves. And who was in their way had to go. So if you don't understand the history of your country, the political history of your country, and you think you're just going to come in and walk in and beat an incumbent party in power right now, then as the old saying goes, joke you're making. joke you're making. And for all these young cats that just came in the NNP, I would think you had a little more oomph. I thought you would bring it. But I don't see you bringing it. You should be energized. You should be convincing. You should be charismatic. But I'm yet to see one of you that is. You better up your game, guys. You better up your game. You better up your game. Or as I have said, Peter David is coming for your food. And I'm glad Dr. Mitchell sort of knocked some sense into you guys. And he says, stop talking all that crap about we win, we win. We only win when we actually win. If you think this is going to be a cakewalk, then you're joking. No one ever underestimates the Alps. Ever underestimate the enemy. You got to be prepared. The greatest warrior Tirish has said that when you execute your plans, it should be so effective that it's like taking rocks and throwing it on eggs. So you can't be second guessing this thing at this stage of the game. What if they drop an election, you guys, in March or April? You know how these guys like to mimic people. They might mimic me and Motley. They might think they might have the same success. And if they drop an election in you in March or April, guess what? You'll be caught with your drawers down. So go ahead. Keep goofing around. Make it easy for us. Keep telling you guys, you think it's a joke. Peter David is coming for your food. He has the easiest path to leadership. And you guys better be prepared to make a deal with him. He will be the kingmaker. I promise you that. Michael Baptiste was the star of the show last night. Because he spoke to the issues that are actually affecting Grenadians. Those days of coconut politics are over. You younger cats in the party should bring it. You're supposed to make Miss Emmeline Pierre's job easy. She's working too hard. That's what you're there for. To make her job easier. And at this stage, Dr. Mitchell has done his fair share. This gentleman didn't need to come and speak for so long. This gentleman should be relaxing. He comes, gives a 2-minute speech or a minute speech. He comes, he gives a minute or 2-minute speech. He don't need to be working so hard. Again, as I have said, there is so much political armor in the public space. And instead of getting on your platform and reinforcing that, like Michael Baptiste did, you guys talking about a whole set of coconut politics. One thing Kem Jones said, and he was absolutely right about, is that people are a little smarter now these days. They want a little more something to get them motivated. You have to understand, you would be going up against big financial guns now. These guys have a little bit of money. And they have backers. The socialist Marxists all over the place, diaspora all over the place, are with them. As I tell you, it wasn't them that won. There was a whole machination in place. So you have to understand what that machination is. You have to understand that the media, leftist media in Grenada, is hijacked by socialist Marxists. So they're not on your side. You have to understand the union and civic voices are on their side. It's controlled and again hijacked by socialist Marxists. And then you have the intelligentsia, the petty bourgeois intellectuals. You think they like you? You think they like the NNP? No. Their comrades are in the NDC. So this is the ogre that you're up against. First, realize that. When you realize that, Hopefully then, you'll start to prepare for battle. Word to the wise is sufficient. Okay, so we've come to the end of our show now, and I would just like to remind you, please subscribe so you can keep updated with fresh new content. And if you like our content, please feel free, support us, send us a coffee or something, okay? Click that heart-shaped icon and you can send us a gift, a cup of coffee or something, all right? So this is the community for awareness, education, and ultimately liberation. Stay vigilant.
Oh, Grenada, how have you been laid bare? Red dirt on your shoulders, salt in your hair. My beautiful maiden, stripped at her open breast, ships cut through your harbors, iron on your chest. But your sons and daughters will rise for you, bare feet on the hill in the morning dew. Voices like thunder through rusted air. We will cover your shame, we will answer this prayer.